Mr. Sir asks who my top 5 Big Ten offenses are this fall. And I think that there are 5 teams that are clearly ahead. Clearly. They are head and shoulders above the rest of the conference in offense. And consequently, most of these teams are paired with good defenses and therefore are just ahead of the rest of the conference in general. They are a whole tier or several tiers ahead of really the remaining 13 teams. Michigan and Washington could prove me wrong. These are teams that, for a variety of reasons, could break what I believe are the top 5 Big Ten offenses, and both really regard their quarterbacks. Underwood's ceiling, the fact that Michigan has a very capable running back room and potential on the O-line, and for Washington, their quarterback and running back and the potential they have at wide receiver and tight end. But as of right now, I think that the top 5 Big Ten offenses are going to be USC, Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State. And I think they are clearly your top 5 offenses. Let me show you why. So Penn State in preseason offensive S&P Plus ratings per Bill Connolly, which includes returning production, quality of play, maybe a little bit of recruiting, but I think it's mostly, tempo-based statistics and play-by-play results and game results and returning production. Very wonky, as most preseason power ratings are, but there's a methodology to it, and Connolly knows his stuff. Penn State leads the Big Ten in preseason offensive S&P Plus, with a 40.6 rating on offense, which is 3rd nationally. Oregon, their preseason offensive S&P Plus rating is a 40.5, which is 4th. Ohio State's is a 39.6. Indiana's is a 32.1. And USC's is a 36.2. So Penn State's 3rd nationally, 1st in the Big Ten. Oregon is 4th nationally, 2nd in the Big Ten. Ohio State is 7th nationally in preseason offensive S&P Plus, 3rd in the Big Ten. Indiana, they are 5th in the Big Ten, 30th nationally. Or no, they're not 5th in the Big Ten. They're 6th in the Big Ten. USC is 4th in the Big Ten, 13th nationally. Illinois was ahead of Indiana in preseason offensive S&P Plus. I happen to believe that for a variety of reasons, mostly receiver and the fact that I think Indiana's a better staff, that they will have a better offense than Illinois. I mean, look at how both of those offenses functioned last year, especially against their more common opponents, and you will see that Indiana's was much more efficient. They bring back enough and got enough great players in the portal to where I think they'll be once again better than Illinois there. Before we resume this segment, please take a few seconds of your time to make sure you have liked the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for the channel and for any team podcasts and playlists linked in the description, and also comment your thoughts down below in the comment section and join my Discord server via the description. All of those things I just asked you to do are completely free, and they sign you up for things related to my channel, or they don't sign you up for anything. No cost to you, and all the benefit to you because we release daily college football content here on College Football with Sam. If you want to support the channel monetarily, sign up for a YouTube membership, or check any other links in the description for my merchandise store and Patreon page. Thank you very much, and let's get back to the segment. Could be wrong, but I have more faith in being proven wrong by Michigan and Washington this year on offense than Illinois. I think if Illinois is going to be better than last year drastically in one area, it will probably be defense. But again, I'm open to being proven wrong, and I kind of hope I am, because the more Big Ten teams are in the playoff and doing well, the happier I am, honestly, especially when they're an underdog caliber team, no matter the conference. I have Penn State at 1, Oregon at 2, and apologies for that tangent there, but it is what it is. Indiana at 4, tangents are fun sometimes, and USC at 5. Those are my top 5 Big Ten offenses ranked. Ohio State has the most upside, but a floor that is probably lower than Penn State's this year, especially with the coordinator change. Probably a lower floor than Oregon as well with the coordinator change and just what those teams have done, I think, recently and this preseason on the offensive line and at running back. Indiana and USC are clearly below Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State. USC has a higher ceiling than Indiana just based on talent and Lincoln Riley, but they also have a lower floor because last year I'm confident that outside of big games, Indiana's offense was much better. And you did not get a guarantee on USC's offense in big games anyway. They didn't do much against a Michigan defense that struggled early in the year. Against Penn State, that was a defense that was susceptible to a variety of offenses. I mean, they let Minnesota score 25 points, guys. Come on, even with Abdul Carter. So there's more debate for that 4 and 5 spot, but I think unanimously you have to have Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State in your top 3 Big Ten offenses. I think that's going to be the case this year. If one team is somehow going to break that, it will be USC, given Lincoln Riley. Indiana might break it statistically, but I highly doubt in actuality they will. If they played the same amount of big games that Ohio State and Penn State and Oregon did, and in some cases they do, and I think you'll see it on the field, they won't be nearly as good due to talent limitations. USC, I think, is elite at quarterback, running back, and wide receiver. They at least have elite potential there. Correction. USC and Indiana, I don't think, are proven to be elite anywhere on offense right now. Jaden Mayava at quarterback, Waymon Jordan, Eli Sanders, and Brian Jackson are some players in those rooms that I think either because of depth or talent can really pop off. And then if there is a room that is definitely elite for USC, it is Mekhi Lemon, Jacoby Lane, and Prince Strachan at wide receiver. I just don't quite know if they have the depth that Ohio State does, or just the raw potential with one given, or, well, they have that with Mekhi Lemon and Jacoby Lane. They do have that. But depth is an area that, for wide receiver, is probably worse than last year, and Mekhi Lemon and Jacoby Lane did not have these 1,000-yard fantastic seasons, partly because of wide receiver depth and QB play, I know, but I think you can get more out of those rooms than you had last season. They're strong, though. Wide receiver, running back, quarterback is strong. I think the offensive line is strong overall, and tight end is strong, too. O-line, if DJ Wingfield isn't eligible, and I haven't updated myself on that, so if there is an update, please share it with me in the comment section. If he isn't eligible, that changes some things, I think, for this offensive line. He was a really good guard last year at Purdue. Would, I think, be an even better guard this year in Riley's offense at USC. And this O-line is thin. It's a strong unit, and it has, I think, more proven players than a lot of other Big Ten positions, but it does not have a ton of depth. It just does not. So if one of their projected starters can't play or is injured, that certainly changes things. So pay attention there. Indiana's at 4. I think Indiana has elite potential at quarterback, guard, and center. Wide receiver, I think, is talent capped. I believe that, as some have said before, as guys like Chuck on Bucks have said before, wonderful channel, you should check him out, that on the offensive line, I think especially when it comes to collegiate play, you can be an elite player, or at least have a better chance of being an elite player if you're an offensive lineman who's lower graded than you have the chance to be an elite player if you're like a 3-star wide receiver, as an example. Doesn't always fit, and I think sometimes people use the whole O-line as a higher bust rate as a cope for their unit not recruiting well, but there is a bit of truth to it, I think. I think especially, athleticism and twitchiness, things we typically associate with, receivers, skill positions, backfield players, that matters more for the outside guys. For offensive linemen, when you have size and, height, things like that, I think there's just more room for you to outdo your projected weight class, if that makes sense. So I love Pat Coogan at center. I love Bray Lynch and Drew Evans at guard, and I think Mendoza could be a stud. I also believe that Indiana already is strong at those positions. In addition to starting tackle with Carter Smith, Zen Mahalski is a huge question mark, and I think overall, if Smith were to somehow get hurt, the tackle situation goes from, I think, strong because Smith's at left tackle to bad pretty quickly. And wide receiver is also a unit of strength. For Ohio State, I think offensively has strong QB and running back play. I think they're strong and deeper at tackle than people realize. I think the interior last year was a bit carried by a centennial running back room and the fact that they kind of avoided the interior of the O-line as much as they possibly could in a variety of instances. Tight end, though, is elite. This is the first team that is elite in this list at anything. And then wide receiver isn't just elite. Saying this wide receiver room is elite could be disrespectful to it. It's a centennial group. I am on record for saying that I think this will be Ohio State's best wide receiver room under Hartline, because Smith is bigger, stronger, faster. Same with Carnell Tate. Same with Brandon Inniss. And Hartline now, because of his recruiting, development, and reputation, and being several years in, entering year 7 along with Ryan Day, they've stacked so much talent that their 6th string wide receiver, in my opinion, would be starting at a variety of schools. It's so many different schools. It's crazy. So this is a unit that I think, much like last year, you could see them be limited to like 17 or 10 points in a given game, depending on the defense they play. But it would have to be an elite defense, so in the top 1% of defenses. And for almost everyone else, they will score 30 points at absolute minimum. There's again, this ceiling that no one else has with Ohio State on offense. But there's also this floor that I don't think you will see from Penn State, and potentially not even from Oregon. Again, pay attention to Max Clare, obviously Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, but Brandon Inniss and Mylan Graham will see playing time. Wouldn't be shocked if even sometimes they maybe want to go 5 wide and like Quincy Porter rolls out there, or Bryson Rogers rolls out there. They also have Will Kazmarek and some other tight ends. They have the capability of going big with multiple tight ends. And then James Peoples, Bo Jackson, CJ Donaldson, it's the same as it ever was. Wonderful at skill positions, great at offensive tackle. I think the question is the interior of that offensive line, along with how much the drop-off is at running back and quarterback. For Oregon, I'm confident that running back, tight end, and parts of the O-line are elite, along with, this is a bold opinion of mine, that Decorian Moore will be wide receiver 1 and All-American this coming year. They are much like, I would say, Indiana at tackle is the same way they are at guard. Or Emmanuel Pregnon is one of the best guards in America, but if he gets hurt, and it's the same with both tackles, though I think both of their tackles are good, so there's just better quality play there. If they get injured on the offensive line, Oregon is shaky there. Like, I think their starters are better than Ohio State's. Also, I think better than USC's, similar caliber with Indiana's. But so many teams now, even the best teams, this includes Oregon and Ohio State, if they suffer critical injuries in the O-line, it's over. Or at least what the unit it was before injury is done. And now you have to deal with the unit post-injury. It's a big part of the reason why I have Penn State at 1, is I think Penn State could have 2 of their offensive linemen drop dead in the unit. It will initially go through some pain, but in the short term and long term, after one game, is going to be absolutely fine and won't have to change a lot of things. For Oregon, Mackay Hughes is an All-American running back. Kenyon Sadiq and Max Clare are your top 2 tight ends, both from Ohio State and Oregon. And I like the tackle room, what they did in the portal at tackle with Alex Harkey and Isaiah World. If they're able to blend in with the team and fit with the culture, then that's going to be successful. I look at center Iapani Lololu, and I love what I see out of him. And, of course, you got to pay attention to, quarterback in the same way with Julian Sayin, same with Dante Moore. I think that both of those quarterbacks will be top 15. A bit higher on Sayin, I'll say, but I'm still really high on Dante Moore. Penn State's my number 1 because of experience, because Aller has a lot of untapped upside that if he just makes the same jump he made from 22 to 23, 23 to 24, and then from 24 to 25, well, he'll be passing in the 140s, 150s, 160s in big games, and he'll be lighting it up everywhere else. If not, he could be better than that, because this wide receiver core is way better than last year's. It's actually strong. I can actually say that Penn State's wide receiver core is a strong unit nationally. It's not the strength of the offense or a strength of the team, but Penn State's team is so good that it can be a weak link on the team and still be one of the better wide receiver units in the Big Ten. Indeed, it is with Devontae Ross, Trevor Pena, and also Kyron Hudson. Quarterback with Aller, we already talked about. Love him. At running back, It's either them or Notre Dame for the top running back duo in America. Nicholas Singleton, Katron Allen, and the battle for that running back 3 spot will be intriguing. I love tight end for them. I think it will be elite by the end of the year. Beginning of the year, it'll be worse than Ohio State and Oregon. End of the year, they probably won't have the same caliber of top-end player that Ohio State or Oregon does, but they'll have better depth. Their second-string tight end will be better than Oregon or Ohio State's second-string tight end. And then I love their tackle, guard, center positions, and just overall depth. This team, I think, has what it takes on offense to suffer through injuries and not change their identity much, unless the injuries are at wide receiver or obviously quarterback. But quarterback goes for everyone. Wide receiver at this point, with all the teams I'm talking about, probably goes for everyone too, except for Ohio State. Which again, circle back to my point, Ohio State and Penn State are probably top 2 with all of these teams in terms of ceiling, and I'd put Ohio State at 1. But Penn State's depth and high floor, and the fact that Kotelnicki comes back, so they have staff continuity there, coordinator continuity. And we saw what Kotelnicki did at Kansas. He revolutionized that place. You can't tell me that a man who rebuilt the Kansas offense, and then when he left, things kind of fell apart there on offense. You can't tell me he's overrated, especially when he had no wide receivers to work with last year and was in year 1. I mean, what he did last year was incredible. So those are my top 5 Big Ten offenses there. Again, USC 5th, Indiana 4th. You kind of jump up to another tier there and get to Ohio State 3rd, Oregon 2nd, and Penn State at number 1. Those are my top 5 Big Ten offenses, and if anyone's going to prove me wrong there, I think that Michigan and Washington could compete for that 5th spot. Not really sure Michigan could go anywhere above that. Washington, if everything plays out, could probably compete for that 4th spot. But the top 3, I'm 100, not going to say 100% because you should never say never, but I'm 99.9 repeated % sure that your top 3 offenses in the Big Ten will be Penn State, Oregon, and Ohio State. In any order which you rank those is somewhat fine with me. Thank you for watching College Football with Sam. Make sure that you've liked the video, subscribed to the channel, hit the notification bell for the channel and team playlists and podcasts in the description, join the free Discord server where we talk college football 24/7, and have commented your thoughts down below. Check out the description for any ways you can support the channel monetarily. Everything else I've asked you to do is completely free, and your support means the world to me. We're trying to become the next big thing on college football YouTube. 6-figure subscribers, maybe 1 million one day. I think we can do that. And also check out any videos or playlists, anything in these columns right here, where there will be videos and playlists. Yeah, you get the point. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one.